If you hear your name in a winter forest, don't answer. Don't joke back. Don't call out, "Who's there?" like the woods are playing fair. Because some things don't call you to be found. They call you to be taken. Across the far north, Algonquian peoples carried an old warning. Cree, Ojibwe, Innu, and others who learned what cold can do when it has time. In deep winter, the forest isn't peaceful. It's staged. Snow squeaks under your boots like dry bone. Your breath feels too loud, too visible. Sound travels farther than it should, then dies without warning. And somewhere beyond the last safe marker, something listens for the one sound you can't ignore. Your own name. Most people think they know the Wendigo. Antlers, a towering silhouette, a monster you can spot and shoot. That's the souvenir version. The older version is worse, because it isn't just a creature. It's hunger, given patience and intelligence, wearing human instincts like stolen clothes. In many traditions, it starts as a person, a hunter trapped by a blizzard that erases tracks in minutes, a family sealed in by drifts taller than the door, a man staring at an empty pot while the wind hits the cabin like it wants inside. Days stretch, then weeks. You stop measuring time by sunlight and start measuring it by the pain in your gut. And then comes the line nobody wants to picture themselves crossing. Cannibalism. Not as shock, as rupture, as the moment a human body becomes food and something inside the mind breaks clean in half. The stories say that's when a new hunger arrives, one that doesn't end and doesn't even want to end. Your humanity goes out. Something else stays awake. But the most terrifying detail isn't teeth or height. It's how it hunts. A smart predator doesn't chase you through snow. It makes you walk off the trail on your own.
Help us.
Hunters, guides, and park workers, people who know what coyotes sound like, who know what wind does in spruce, keep describing the same phenomenon. A voice where no voice should be. Not a growl, not a scream. A human voice, clean and convincing, delivered at exactly the right moment. A child crying in a place where a child would freeze in minutes. A friend calling your name like they're just around the bend. Sometimes, it's only a broken sob, wordless panic that hits your nervous system like a command. Go. Help. Now. And the voice never comes closer. No matter how fast you push through the trees, it stays the same distance away. Always just far enough to keep you believing you can reach it. That's not how a lost person sounds. That's how bait works. The official world has safe explanations. Auditory distortion in extreme cold, isolation stress, the brain manufacturing patterns in silence, misidentified wildlife, and yes, winter kills people with no help from folklore. At 20 below, numbness arrives like a thief. Sweat becomes a threat. A wrong turn becomes a countdown. But some details keep turning up beside real disappearances that don't feel like accidents. Some gear left behind that makes no survival sense. Tracks that stop without a clear reason. A pack placed down neatly, as if the owner paused calmly while death waited. And in rare cases, a person vanishes fast. So fast, companions look away for a moment and look back into a new reality. One less body and no sound of struggle. No scream, just silence, like a door closing. A ranger in the far north once wrote a private note after a late-season sweep near a frozen portage. Not an official report, just something he needed out of his head. The day was so cold the sky looked bleached. The trees stood rigid, black spines against white ground. The only sound was his own movement, boots compressing snow, fabric rubbing, breath rasping in his throat. Then he heard his name, spoken normally, close. The kind of distance that makes you turn your head without thinking. He didn't, because he knew he was alone. He'd logged the route. He'd watched the last vehicle leave hours earlier. He told himself it was wind, echo, stress. Then the voice said his name again. Same tone, same timing, like it wanted him to understand it could do it whenever it pleased. And under it, barely audible, he noticed something wet, breathing that didn't sound clean. He started back toward the marked trail. That's when the voice changed into a child, distress without words, the raw frequency that drags you forward before logic can argue. His feet drifted offline for a step, then another, until he caught the pattern that made his stomach drop. The sound wasn't getting closer. It was leading him. He smelled rot, thick, meat-sour decay that didn't belong in air that cold. Then he heard a single compression of snow behind him. One step, heavy, deliberate. He didn't turn. He kept walking, steady, because every warning that survives winter agrees on one rule. The moment you acknowledge it, you become easier to move. He made it back to his vehicle near dusk, hands shaking hard enough to miss the key twice. When the engine finally caught, it felt loud and wrong, like he'd broken a rule he didn't understand. He drove out without looking back. You can call it stress, you can call it isolation. But the pattern doesn't stop. Voices that know exactly what tone to use, exactly what weakness to press, exactly how to keep their distance until you're too deep to return. So remember the old warning, don't answer.
It's cold down here.
Because what's calling you may not be lost. It may be practicing. And if you ever hear your own voice calling from deeper in the trees, how will you prove it's really you?